Have you ever wondered about the ancient roots of modern Iran? The story begins over 5,000 years ago, around the year 3200 BC, with the Elamite kingdoms, which were among the earliest known civilizations to grace this region. Located in what is now southwestern Iran, the Elamites left behind an impressive legacy, including the ziggurat of Chokha-Zanbil, an architectural marvel that still stands to this day. But the history of Iran didn't stop there. As the centuries rolled on, the Elamite kingdoms fell, giving way to new powers. The Medes, a confederation of Iranian-speaking tribes, rose to prominence around the 7th century BC. Known for their artistry and craftsmanship, the Medes established a vast and influential empire that left an indelible mark on the region. However, the real game-changer in the ancient history of Iran was the rise of the Achaemenid Empire around the 6th century BC. Founded by Cyrus the Great, the Achaemenids built an empire that stretched from the Indus Valley in the east to Thrace and Macedonia on the northeastern border of Greece. This was the first Persian Empire, and at its peak it was the largest empire the world had ever seen. The Achaemenids were renowned for their tolerance and good governance. They established a postal system, road networks, and even a professional army. Their capital, Persepolis, was a city of immense beauty and grandeur, reflecting the glory of the Persian Empire. But like all great empires, the Achaemenids had their sunset. It came in the form of the infamous Alexander the Great, whose armies brought the mighty Persian Empire to its knees. Yet the fall of the Achaemenids was not the end of Iran's story. It was merely a chapter in a long and fascinating history that would see the rise and fall of many more empires. This was the beginning of Iran's rich cultural tapestry that would continue to evolve over centuries. But what happened after the fall of the Achaemenid Empire? The fall of the Achaemenid Empire saw the rise of the Seleucid Empire. Founded by Seleucus I Nicator, a former general of Alexander the Great, the Seleucids ruled over Iran for nearly 200 years. Their reign, however, was not one of domination. Instead, they embraced Persian culture, incorporating it into their own Hellenistic traditions. It was a golden age of intellectual and cultural exchange where Greek philosophy met Persian thought. However, the Seleucids' grip on power was not to last. From the northeastern province of Parthia, a new power emerged. The Parthian Empire, founded by Arsaces I, soon controlled all of Iran and stretched from the Euphrates River in the west to the Indus River in the east. The Parthians were known for their military prowess, particularly their horse archers, and their unique form of government, which was a blend of monarchy and a council of nobles. They held their ground against the might of Rome, ensuring Iran's independence. Yet like all empires, the Parthians too fell, giving way to the Sasanian Empire. The Sasanians, claiming to be the inheritors of the Achaemenid Empire, embarked on a project of cultural revival. They standardized the Persian language, promoted Zoroastrianism, and developed a distinct art style. The Sasanian Empire became a major world power, rivaling the Roman and later the Byzantine Empire. The Sasanians also made significant contributions to science and technology. They established the Academy of Gondishapur, where Greek, Persian, and Indian scholars gathered to translate and preserve the knowledge of the ancient world. It was a beacon of learning during the Dark Ages in Europe. The Seleucid, Parthian, and Sasanian empires, each in their own way, shaped Iran's cultural and political landscape. They fostered intellectual growth, preserved and promoted Persian culture, and held their ground against foreign powers. These empires not only shaped Iran's identity, but also left a lasting impact on the world. But how did Iran come to adopt Islam, a religion that has become one of its defining features? Well, it all began with the Islamic conquest of Persia in the 7th century. Prior to the Islamic conquest, Iran was a Zoroastrian society under the rule of the Sasanian Empire. However, this empire's reign was weakened by wars with the Byzantine Empire and internal conflict, leaving it vulnerable to the rapidly expanding Muslim Arab armies from the Arabian Peninsula. In the mid-7th century, the Muslim Arab forces began their conquest of Persia. The resistance was fierce, but by the mid-8th century, most of Iran was under Islamic rule. This wasn't merely a political change, though. It marked the beginning of profound cultural and religious transformations. Over the following centuries, the Persian people gradually adopted the Islamic faith, while simultaneously influencing it with their own rich cultural heritage. They integrated elements of their pre-Islamic traditions into Islamic art, literature, and architecture, creating a unique Persian Islamic culture. Now, let's talk about the Seljuk dynasty, which had a significant role in shaping this new culture. The Seljuks were a Turkic dynasty that rose to power in the 11th century, ruling over a vast empire that included Iran. They were Sunni Muslims, and under their rule, Sunni Islam became the dominant sect in Iran, a status it maintained until the rise of the Shia Safavid dynasty in the 16th century. The Seljuks were also patrons of the arts and sciences, fostering a cultural and intellectual renaissance known as the Persianate culture. This was a high point in Iranian civilization, where Persian language and culture spread across the Middle East. The Seljuks also played a significant role in the military and political affairs of the Islamic world. They defended the Islamic lands against the invasions of the Crusaders and the Mongols, and their military prowess contributed to the respect and fear they commanded in the medieval world. So the Seljuks played a significant role in shaping the Persian Islamic culture that we know today. Their dynasty might have ended, but their influence is still palpable in the culture, language and traditions of Iran and the broader Middle East. But what happened when the Mongols and Timurids invaded Iran? In the 13th century, Iran faced one of its most devastating periods with the arrival of the Mongols. Led by the fearsome Genghis Khan, the Mongol cavalry swept across the Iranian plateau like a storm, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Cities were razed, libraries burned, and countless lives lost. The Mongol invasion, in many ways, marked the end of the classical Persian civilization. Yet in the ashes of destruction, something unexpected happened. The Mongols, known for their ferocity and warfare, began to adopt aspects of the Persian culture they had initially obliterated. They embraced Persian administrative systems, literature, and art, leading to an unexpected cultural exchange. Fast forward to the end of the 14th century, and we find another nomadic conqueror setting his sights on Iran, Timur, better known in the West as Tamerlane. Much like the Mongols before him, Timur's initial invasion brought devastation. But once the dust settled, his reign brought about a cultural renaissance. Under the Timurids, Iran experienced a golden age of art and architecture. The skyline of Iranian cities transformed with the construction of turquoise-domed mosques and intricate mausoleums, many of which still stand as testaments to the Timurids' architectural prowess. Literature flourished, with works like those of the poet Hafez and the historian Sharaf ad-Din Ali Yazdi. Moreover, the Timurid Empire served as a bridge between the Eastern and Western worlds. Its geographical position and cultural richness attracted scholars, traders, and artists from across the globe, contributing to a vibrant and diverse society. However, the Timurid Empire, much like the Mongol Khanate before it, was not destined to last. Internal conflicts and power struggles led to its eventual decline, paving the way for the rise of a new power in the region. This period was a mix of turmoil and cultural growth, leading to the rise of a new power. So, who took over the reins of power after the Timurids, you ask? Well, the stage was set for the rise of three influential dynasties: the Safavid, Afsharid, and Qajar. Each of these dynasties played a significant role in shaping Iran's socio-political structure. Firstly, we have the Safavid dynasty, which emerged in the early 16th century. They were notable for their conversion of Iran from Sunni to Shia Islam, a move that had profound implications on the country's identity and its relations with its neighbors. The Safavids were also great patrons of the arts, fostering a cultural renaissance that left a lasting legacy. But like all great empires, the Safavid dynasty eventually declined. By the early 18th century, it was replaced by the Afsharid dynasty, led by the charismatic Nadir Shah. Known as the Napoleon of Persia, Nadir Shah was a brilliant military strategist who expanded Iran's borders significantly. However, his reign was marked by brutality and chaos, and his assassination led to a power vacuum. This power vacuum paved the way for the rise of the Qajar dynasty in the late 18th century. The Qajars were known for their attempts at modernization, following the models of European powers. They initiated reforms in military, administrative and educational sectors. However, they faced resistance from conservative forces, and their concessions to foreign powers sparked a nationalistic sentiment among Iranians. The Qajar era also saw the Constitutional Revolution, a landmark event that led to the establishment of a parliament in Iran. This was a significant step towards democracy, even though it was fraught with challenges. In spite of their distinct characteristics, these three dynasties had a common thread. They all sought to consolidate power and establish a strong central authority. They also contributed to the unique cultural and religious identity of Iran. Their legacies are still visible in today's Iran, from the architectural marvels of the Safavids to the legal and administrative systems of the Qajars. So despite the turmoil and change, one thing remains clear. These dynasties laid the foundation of modern Iran. But how did Iran transition into its current form as an Islamic republic? Well, this transformative period in Iran's history began with the reign of the Pahlavi dynasty in the early 20th century. The Pahlavi dynasty was founded by Reza Shah Pahlavi in 1925. As a former military officer, Reza Shah was instrumental in bringing about political and social reforms that helped modernize the country. He introduced Western education systems, improved infrastructure, and even encouraged women to participate more fully in society. However, his rule was marked by autocratic methods, and he often silenced opposition with an iron hand. This led to growing discontent among the people, particularly the religious clerics and intellectuals who felt marginalized by the Shah's modernization efforts and secular policies. Fast forward to 1941, and Reza Shah was forced to abdicate in favor of his son, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. The young Shah continued his father's modernization policies, but his rule was also marked by corruption, lavish living, and a growing gap between the rich and the poor. Discontent continued to simmer beneath the surface. The turning point came in the late 70s. The economic downturn, political repression, and a perceived westernization of the society led to widespread protests and civil unrest. The Islamic Revolution, led by the exiled cleric Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, gained momentum. In January 1979, the Shah was forced into exile, and 2 months later, a referendum resulted in the establishment of an Islamic Republic, with Khomeini as the supreme leader. The Islamic Revolution represented a dramatic shift from a monarchy to a theocratic republic. It was a movement fueled by a desire for greater social justice, a return to traditional values, and a rejection of foreign influence. The establishment of the Islamic Republic marked the end of 2,500 years of continuous monarchy in Iran. And thus, Iran as we know it today was born. So, where does Iran stand today? In the heart of the Middle East, modern Iran is a nation that is both deeply rooted in its historical heritage and acutely aware of its contemporary challenges. Politically, Iran is an Islamic republic, a unique blend of religious authority and democratic principles. Its political structure is a complex weave of spiritual and secular power, with the supreme leader at the helm embodying the fusion of religious and political leadership. Socially, Iran is a vibrant tapestry of different ethnicities, languages and cultures. Persian, the official language, echoes the nation's rich past, while regional languages like Azeri, Kurdish and Arabic reflect the country's diversity. Despite the differences, a strong sense of national identity pervades the Iranian society, underpinned by shared cultural traditions and a deep-seated pride in their historical heritage. Culturally, Iran is a treasure trove of artistic and intellectual traditions. Persian literature, music and visual arts continue to thrive, influenced by both ancient motifs and contemporary themes. The nation's reverence for its poets, such as Rumi and Hafez, is testament to this cultural vitality. Yet Iran is not without its challenges. Economic sanctions have strained the nation's economy, leading to inflation and unemployment. Social issues, such as gender equality and freedom of expression, continue to stir debate and activism. Despite these hurdles, The spirit of resilience and innovation is palpable in Iran's youth, who are leveraging technology and education to shape the nation's future. The country's rich history has left an indelible imprint on its modern landscape. The ancient roots of Persia, the grandeur of its empires, and the profound influence of Islam are all mirrored in Iran's present. This historical legacy has shaped the nation's worldview, instilling a sense of continuity amidst change. Iran today is a complex tapestry, woven with threads from its rich and diverse history. So, what can we conclude from Iran's ancient and diverse history? From its ancient roots, Iran has been a cradle of civilization, a melting pot of cultures, and a significant player on the world stage. The Age of Empires showcased Iran's prowess in administration and warfare, while the Islamic conquest and the Seljuk dynasty marked a significant religious and cultural shift. The Mongol and Timurid invasions, though destructive, brought a new cultural synthesis, making Iran a hub of art and learning. The Safavid, Afsharid and Qajar dynasties further shaped Iran's political and cultural identity, fostering a unique blend of Persian and Islamic traditions. The Pahlavi dynasty and the Islamic Revolution brought about dramatic political change, setting the stage for modern Iran. Throughout its complex journey, Iran has demonstrated remarkable resilience, absorbing influences yet maintaining its unique cultural richness. Iran's history is a testament to its resilience and cultural richness, a journey that continues to unfold.